Hello, you're watching Proactive. Joining me is Craig Foster, the CEO of Ondo InsurTech. Craig, very good to speak with you. And it's a very busy week. You've got your full year results now. You've also announced another contract win in the US, and you're on an investor roadshow. So perhaps starting with the results, they really illustrate the strong progress you made last year.
Yeah, that's right. Our results were out on Monday. We're still a relatively new company, so to remind viewers at Ondo, we're on a mission to become a world leading company in claims prevention technology, specifically for the home insurance industry. And we see a future that is becoming a reality where Internet of Things technologies are used as standard to protect homes, reduce risk, and prevent waste. And we're really leading that change with our solution called LeakBot. It's a water damage prevention system. It's now used by 18 insurers around the world. We announced on Monday we're now in 111,000 homes, and we've got a plus 91 net promoter score. So homeowners love the solution. And the message in the results this week really were targets have been met. We delivered exactly in line with broker forecasts. Growth has been delivered across the customer base, across top line revenue. But the really important message there was the foundations have been laid for really fast and exciting US-powered growth in the future, really driven by the breakthrough in the United States that we've made this year.
So, Craig, I mean, you talked about top line growth. Your revenue or your sales are up 29%, but recurring revenue, so software and services, up 41%, and that must be very encouraging.
Yeah, it's been a deliberate strategy. I mean, we've deliberately moved away from driving revenue from kind of device sales because our solution comprises of an Internet of Things sensor that we install in the home, but then we also provide insurers with a suite of services, including the in-home plumbing service to go find and fix the actual root cause of the problem. And increasingly, in all the US deals we've been doing, we've been moving to a flat recurring revenue model, which is much better for us in the long run as a company. But it means you don't get that immediate spike from one-off device sales. And you can really see that in our numbers. Recurring revenues grew by 41%, whereas the unit sales were a much lower percentage of growth. And the exit rate was 1.7 million on the recurring revenue. So that's been a very deliberate shift for us.
You also talked about your US partners in 4 states. In fact, you've now signed up another partner that was announced yesterday. So it was a contract with a super regional insurer. Tell me how this augments your business in the US.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting year because I think what we try to convey in the results is we've really laid those foundations for US growth, although you don't immediately see it in the headline numbers. If you look at our results to the end of March 2023, we announced then we report on the number of addressable households. So how many homes could we get into through the contracts that we've already signed? And we had a big jump from 500,000 to over 2 million in the results a year ago. And that was because of a load of contracts that we'd won in the Nordics. If you look at this year's results that we reported on Monday, 73% of our growth came from Scandinavia because of those prior contract wins. If you look at the results on Monday, what you can see is there's been another big growth in addressable households. It increased over doubled, 2.2 times growth, really driven by all the new contract wins in the United States, most notably Nationwide, who are one of the biggest carriers there. So although you don't see it, the US was 9% of our customer growth, so it's starting to pull through. But what's interesting is those about 3% of our customer base are the new customers that we've recently won in the United States. But those 3% of customers are already delivering 12% of our recurring revenues. So it really underlines why, from a financial point of view, the US is a great market for us. And the reason why that is because US homeowners spend much more on their home insurance. The average policy premium is approaching $1,500 is the average price people pay for home insurance in the US. They're much higher than in the UK. And the cost of the claims in the US is extraordinary. US insurers pay $16 billion a year, putting houses back to how they were because of small leaks in the home. And these are leaks that our solution can uniquely Detect. There's nothing else like it on the market. It's a small self-install solution that you put on the pipe. So the reason this has been a real breakthrough for us in the US is US insurers, they liked our pitch, but the question was, well, can you deliver the same results in the US as what you've done in Europe? Lancet Schaffbrinker in Sweden, by the way, recently reported that they've seen a 40% reduction in their claims costs as a result of deploying our solution. So that raises eyebrows in the US that we can quote that statistic when they're spending collectively $16 billion a year. And we've got the potential to reduce that by 40%. But the question was, can we do it in the US? So we've launched 4 states, Washington, New York, New Jersey, and Ohio, with 4 different insurers: Selective, Pure Underwriting, Mutual of Enumclaw, and Nationwide, one of the biggest carriers in the US. And we've done reviews with all of those carriers and shown them the return on investment that we can immediately deliver. We've shown them the customer satisfaction. We've already delivered a Net Promoter Score in the United States that's higher than the likes of Apple. So we've really proven that we can do it. All of those partner reviews have led those partners to want to do more activity and expand their programs with us. And it's led to a really healthy pipeline of new prospects in the US, especially because Nationwide, who are one of the most well-respected and largest carriers in the US, have really backed our solution. So it's a very exciting time for the business, and the prospects in the US especially look really good.
How do you see 2025 panning out for the company, Craig?
Well, in one regard, I would say it's going to be very boring because we're going to absolutely stick to the strategy. We outlined the strategy again in our investor presentation yesterday, and it's very, very consistent. So we're going to focus on exactly those core markets. We're not going to be distracted with going outside of Scandinavia, the UK, or the United States at the moment. And the reason is we're still a small company today. And the opportunity that we've got immediately in front of us with those partners and the partners in the pipeline is absolutely huge. So we're going to stick squarely to those core markets. Our core customer is that B2B customer of the insurance company. The model is going to be very consistent. All 18 of our insurers do the same model. They give the device away for free. They give the repair service away for free, and they pay us largely on a recurring basis in the background for us to provide that. So it's all, the name of the game now is about consistency of delivery and seeing how fast can we crank that growth handle.
Well, look forward to many more conversations in the near term. Craig, thank you very much for the update today.
Thanks, Stephen.
That's Craig Foster, the CEO of Ondo Insurtech.